Welcome to the 2025 February Beginner Tournament Finals. We have Bolo Hat versus Professor Tack or Prof Tack. These are not their avatars, these are just something I made up in Inkscape, so now it's canon. I hope they like it. This is made possible by the U.S. Tax Association and you guys. U.S. Tax Association is a completely volunteer organization, and we do offer memberships, and all your membership money goes into keeping PlayTac free for everyone to play on, as well as supporting our prizes for these tournaments like this. And speaking of prizes for this tournament are first and second place get to choose between a travel tax set. I finished this design last month and got it cut out, and we're using the tavern pieces for this, so we'll start a travel set for everyone to use. The other option is going to be these metal hawk and wolf capstones from World Builders. They are an excellent addition to your game there. Anyone who participated, finished all their games in the tournament, or all that they possibly could, will also be entered into lottery drawings for my first book, as well as high-level game reviews. So myself or someone else will look at a game that you choose and kind of give you options on what could have gone differently during it. And this is how the players got here. We had group stage. We had 4 groups in this tournament, about 6 or 7 players each, and the top person from each group went on to our single elimination finals, and you can see that now we are down to 2. Alright, let me just check something real quick. Alright, I'm just testing out some of the commands here. I'm new to this streaming. Just started doing getting more serious about YouTube videos last year, and mainly been doing crafting ones. And since Simmons kind of stepped back from the commentating scene, I thought I'd try my hand at this. So I like to keep improving on this. So if you guys have any suggestions, then I'm all ears. Let me know if my audio is good or not. And we will start the stream shortly. I'll give the players go ahead here in just a minute, and we will get to some tack. 2 players in glass houses throwing stones at each other. Alright, I've given the players go ahead, so we should see some stones on the board here in just a minute. This is a 6x6 game with 0 Comey, so nothing is added to black's flat count score if the game ends in flats, which would be either when the board fills up or when the, what do you say? Okay, they're good to go. And we have things going. So if the board fills up or either player runs out of stones. And we have a quick opening here. We have opposite corners and then a bit of a center squabble, what I like to call, going on here. And these guys are going at it. Alright, so we have these parallel road structures here. Black can do something like b4 now and wait another turn and then do a cap for a cut, or they go with the cap cut now. And white begins a pivot. Black cuts off. This would probably be a good spot for a capstone up here, or they could just continue to build, maybe a flat there. A4 doesn't give quite as much pivot potential later on in the game. Now white can make a threat here with E3, threatening to fill in on F3, and they do with the capstone. Black immediately moving up to cut that off. This is going to strand the white cap for quite a while there, and that may be quite detrimental to Bolo Hat's prospects in this game. See a capture. Most common Way to combat this would be to fill in and infill where that flat just went from, and we do see that. And white building a little bit more here. Black's main options here are going to be C1 or D1. And they go C1. So next turn they can hop this capstone over here, making quite a strong threat up the vertical. White continuing to build over here. Might need to be a little more concerned about the kind of the strength of this threat coming up the center of the board. And they do move over. So pretty much the only effective defense that white has is going to be 2d2 over. Because b4 right was immediately kind of canceled by d4 left. That is not attack threat. Black may have been able to slow play that a little bit more, or potentially even just hop up onto this stack here, because by removing this b4 stone, this capstone was no longer pinned. And now white will be able to kind of offer a little bit more counterplay here. Black choosing to run that stack away, giving them an anchor point over on the left side of the board so they could kind of build up along the kind of 5 row. And that's probably what I would do in this situation. Maybe something like e5 up there. Kind of stops white from going that direction. By placing d5 instead, it gives white the opportunity to take e5 for themselves. And now black can either do e6 to slow down white's tempo here, or e5 is an option. However, that invites the white capstone up. So we do see e6. Now white taking e4 with the potential of attack threat next turn. So now white placing on d6 is attack threat. And then what would you do as black? e6 minus is a good possibility there. You can throw this c4 stack over, but again, that invites the white capstone up and gives it something juicy to sit on and make threats with later on in the game. I feel like f5's maybe slightly off. So now you give black d6. And white can take f5 up, make that threat. Whew, a little nervous. I'm not even playing this game. Maybe that cup of coffee I had, which the stream is brought to you by coffee, because it's late at night, and I'm an old man now. Turned 41 last year, so yeah, 9 o'clock's my bedtime. This is a couple hours after. This is not a threat yet, so white has the option of filling in. Or potentially a wall somewhere, but it doesn't seem like that's quite necessary. Ooh, white goes with the hard cap. Okay. So, targeting c4 in some cases, targeting e5 most certainly. The con of doing a hard cap like that is you do cover up one of your own flats. So if we look at flat count score, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 2, 4, 6, does put white behind. So unless it can make that move pay for itself, it can be detrimental in the long run. Black choosing to place flats, so more flats, more better. And white covering that flat up. Not sure quite what the end game is here of that. Black can make a threat with either A5 or F5. F5 would be stranded if that white cap decides to move up and cut that off. D3 is a possibility here, just kind of angling again towards that vertical threat. Okay, and they do go with F5. So if we see 1E4 plus, we do see that kind of get that threat get cut off. Okay, like that. White here is one term from making a threat, either by taking E2 or F3. However, this E3 stone is a liability, so that cap could come over and stop things. Okay, we see F5 plus on the board. Black now one turn from making their own threat. This one stoppable, being a little sneaky, because if they do get E6 here, then this C4 stack can spread to make a road as well as filling in B6 or A5. So multiple paths there on that one. Hey, Falling Toaster, welcome. So now black either has to wall up at E6, which kind of hurts their prospects up there, or they need to throw that capstone over, which opens the C4 stack up to capture by that C2 wall. Okay, they go with the wall. They can afford it based on the flats, but it kind of doesn't allow them to make a road up top anytime soon. Walls are quite powerful, but they can get in your own way. Okay, white continuing on that vertical. Let's see how black responds to this. Okay, they do throw the cap over. And a falling toaster saying that black capstone can travel over and make up some FCD, some flat count differential. Okay, this is not a threat yet, but white is building up something here. Black has options though. They can stay in the center of the board and do something like a D2 or a C3. Those aren't great options. Okay, that's... It moves right into the white capstone's kind of area of control, unfortunately. Pivot this around here just a little bit so you guys can see those stacks. So white has some choices to make here. White can leave one stone and capture that, but that gives them a reach of 3, not quite a threat going in this direction, though it does give them a good many stones to use later on. They can move the entire stack there. And they choose F5 plus. This is a attack threat. Black cannot wall here, or else capstone there can smash it. They can, however, capture that stack with their wall here, giving them quite a long reach down that direction. They can cut with the capstone here, making an attack threat open this area. Okay, and they do choose to make the threat. This can be cut with the white capstone here. We'll see what white chooses to do here. They do have some time on the clock to work with. This was a 15-minute plus 10-second game, so a 10-second increment. 10 seconds added to each player's time after they make a move. And chat saying that the capstone move seemed to be wasted. It does isolate that capstone over on the side. Giving white the center if they choose to take it. that is a threat. We will see if black sees it. White has enough reach here to travel down to the E2 square, making a road here. Even at the high level, these threats can be missed. These are unlike chess. Tack ends when there's a road. You don't have to call tack in these games. And white needs to be very careful here. Okay, they make a threat going the other direction. This must be stopped with a wall here, or the capstone move up. Capstone moves up, then white can replace here. Then the wall would come down, making a threat this direction. Okay, and now white can renew the threat with a placement at C3. And they do. And black is not out of options here. They can move B2 plus or E3 left. They go with E3 left. White can renew by moving this capstone stack, but that opens up this wall movement here. And if you guys have audio on, is the level okay? Can you guys hear the stone clacks and my voice well enough? Everything balanced? Okay, white gave black a bit of breathing room there, and they're able to use that to make their own threats. So placement at B6 makes a drawbridge threat, so this wall can move downward, revealing that black flat and making a road coming across here. White cuts into the formation here. It can be renewed with a C6 placement. And they go with a recapture instead. Okay, let me turn the audio up. Is that better? Falling Toaster was saying there's an E3 thread as well. So yes, that came all the way down to here. Let me get back to where we were. Okay, wall placement. Black can run away, so they can take b5 left, renewing both of those threats. The wall can then come up and cut, but it would have to make another move to then grab that stack that would be on a5 then. Black can also attempt to run some flats out and just place c6. Can run down this direction. Yeah, the recapture was a blunder. b6 down. Making a flat capture when it's not forced and opened yourself up to exactly what happened here. Dropping a wall to then get in the middle of your formation and cover other flats. Just make your life more difficult. Okay, e3 played. So this invites that wall from b6 down. And then the next turn, if needed, it can cover over to d5. Because black is also building in the vertical direction here. White capturing d2 plus. This stack war, if it were to go all the way to completion, is winnable by black. So black captures, white captures, black captures. It doesn't have to go to exhaustion there, but if it does, black comes out on top. Okay, this is a threat, but it doesn't address the potential of this stack here. Oh, undone. Undos are not required in tournament play. However, if you suspect that your opponent has made a misclick, or you tell your opponent you've made a misclick, within a reasonable amount of time, then a lot of people will undo it. And white does use their wall to cut. Now black can rebuild with c6 and b6, but it's too slow. If they play c6, white just plays b6. And then that threat is kind of neutered. White can also spread upwards this direction. Okay. I think they were expecting a3 there, so yes, that was to cut that off. I don't think that wall was necessary, but I think that was the intent there, was for it to be used to cut that off. I'm not sure if this is setting up a sneaky threat for next turn or what, but it kind of just invites that black capstone back into the game. And they take it. How many we have on here? 2, 4, 6. So with the carry limit, this is a 6x6 board, so black can pick up 6 stones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So they must leave one behind now. That stack is at capacity. And then some. And wait. Fills in. Black building towards the threat again on this vertical. If white places at b4, that's the sneaky threat I was talking about. Nope, doesn't work anymore because the black cap's over. Never mind. Alright, so as white, what do you do here? You can make a threat, you can make some FCD moves. We're down to 7 stones remaining. That is a threat on the board. However, it is able to be taken care of. If it's spotted, of course. That threat being to move this stack covering d5, d6 and making, black making their own threat but missing this one. Let's see if it was spotted or unintentional, because those certainly happen too. You can miss your own threats as well as your opponent's. Undone. That does stop the threat. However, you leave this stack open to this B5 stack, taking E5, and then being able to run back over all those. And white just makes a marching move. And black building along the top. One turn away from a road threat here. White has some threat options this turn. Well, a threat option this turn. It's not a great one, but they can throw their cap up to D6, threatening to move over to F6. Capturing that is a move, but just like that, it invites that black wall back up, and now all that white FCD is locked. All those stones are going to be hard to get. White targeting the stack. Black can pin that crush with E1. It's temporary, but may work. Black can ignore the threat and make one of their own, because whoever's closer to a threat is in control. So C6 here would make some sense. Sorry about the background noise, got a train going by. Alright, and black does pin that crush, so if white were to hop onto this stack here, then that would leave a road for black here. So that crush is prevented this turn. White can remove that pin by moving this wall stack over. They can remove it by capturing down here. Okay, white does move over, but that was an atypical spread. Usually you would leave yourself in control as many stacks as possible on the way over. They do not. Maybe there's a reason for that I'm missing. Okay, and what does black do? Black hops over. This is still pinned from the crush, just in a different way. If white crushes, then black can spread upwards, I think, if they have enough. 2, 4, yeah, they have enough. Yeah, Falling Toaster says you don't see many pins in beginner tournaments. I also don't seem to see games go on this long. I haven't been paying attention to time, which, if you've seen my play, you know I have a problem with the clock. But we're Prof Tech's pretty low on time, and Bolo Hat is down to about a minute. Threat on the board, almost immediate. Oh, and I think with that amount of time, you've got to take the win here. You just don't have time to, yep, offer an undo. All right, good game, guys. Yeah. All right, so what do you guys think about that one? It's one of the things I like about watching these beginner tournaments is you see a lot of stuff that you just don't see in quote unquote better play. Um, and I think there's a lot that we can learn from that because they are more creative with their moves. They don't have the ingrained kind of mindset that some of us older players have. Before we jump to the next game, let's let me just check in with the players here. Alright, so here in just a minute, the players are going to switch colors. So we had a win by black there via road. Alright, guys, we're back at it. Alright, we see another opposite corners opening. And we see a knight. Okay. The idea with the knight opening is you're not committing to a vertical or a horizontal yet. You're leaving yourself open for either of those, and we'll see which way he pivots. Looks like we're starting out with the horizontal in this orientation. Okay, black ignoring for now, building these separate spaces. I was going to say black is going to need to cut in here at some point. Now white has the option to continue on this vertical and force that black capstone to move out of the way so then they can fill in that space, or they can go ahead and pivot now. All right, and white giving it some thought, seeing which way they want to go on things. E3 is a good option here. Pivots and cuts off black, and if black plays something like E4 to counter, then white can drop a capstone. If black ignores and goes that direction, white can just place E4 themselves. They can even go ahead and do CD4 here. Okay, they choose E5, which is a kind of a bi-directional move, so it does help the horizontal as well as the vertical. Okay, and now I was going to say white has a choice of pushing that threat or dropping the capstone here, putting these capstones in opposition. Okay, the refill. Infill, if you will. So now if black wants to make this threat, white has an easy capture here. They can choose to do it with the capstone, or they can choose to do it with a flat. They choose the capstone. Black needs to be a little wary of this horizontal threat here. So I believe in this case what I might do is go ahead and make the threat. Yeah, they do. I would have possibly done E6 instead, but I don't have any real basis for that, except that it just looks better to my eyes. That way you get this cap out of the way, a little further away from its own domain, and then you can capture that later or build around it. Okay, that wall is a stop, so a nice blocking stone for that. However, it will get in black's own way as well. And I believe white still has momentum. Black building up to a threat here. Not quite there yet. White deciding not to take any chances with that. So that's probably a smart move. I may have pushed it another turn, but not sure. Let's see from here. Might be able to play for one more turn for it. However, then you might be inviting a wall once you do some flat captures. Another wall by black. I had mentioned earlier these are games without Comey, so black has no advantage if it goes to a flat game. So that can be a little difficult for dropping walls, like defensive walls like this. Your walls need to be able to either buy you enough tempo to make your own threats, or they need to be strong enough FCD wise, like a white wall that captured this stack here would be worth the investment of the wall. However, a wall just to stop this type of threat is not going to pay for itself in the long run. White can renew with a capture. They can renew with a placement. The placement is probably the safer option. or they can make a threat. This can be stopped with a capture here, d4 plus, the wall moving, a placement at b6 would have been decent. And white renews. Very similar options. The capstone moves up. Does give black a little bit of potential for this to go here. I don't think that was necessary. A building here at d6, a flat here at d6 would have made a threat, as well as working towards your vertical here. Of course, I don't know that the capture was necessary either. Okay, we see a threat. d6 stops it, a simple flat placement at d6. This wall can move up to b6. Okay, and that's the option we see. I think e1 looks sensible here. Okay, b4 was a little slow. It allows white to kind of get back into this game, helps them build in both directions. They've now made a little bit of a connection down this direction. a2 helps them move up that way. It's like white is preparing to capture this stack next turn. Which, if they had e1, would be, if not 10u, then very close. White making the threat. So this would need to be stopped with a3 plus, or perhaps a wall throw down to here, although not sure how that would play out, especially if white wants to force the issue. They could crush. Oh, did they already move? Oh, that doesn't stop it. But it has to be seen. Am I miscounting? 2, 4, 6. Nope, they have the reach. So white can take this stack and cover these here to make a road. But as I said last time, it's not just your opponent's attack threats that you miss. All right, white building around. I think white might accidentally do this. Nope. Okay, making the threat. And d4 minus is the play here, I believe. I mean, as much as there is a play, with the other threat still on the board. I guess you can throw f3 up. Okay, renews the threat. Still threatening to connect here. What do you guys think? How many tech threats do you think you've missed in your tech careers? I know I've missed a ton. Okay, so that hole is plugged now. So now what is white going to choose to do? White does an infill at c5, so we're looking at marching up the board here. It's not going to work because black can just place at b5, and they do. This sets up a throw threat here in the next turn or two. So black can place a2 for a threat covering c5, c6. White going for a threat down this direction. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Leaving a stack of 2 here and covering these. So this connection coming here. Let me know if the skins and everything are showing up crisp for you guys, and if the general stream setup looks like it's good. Make some tweaks for the next one, but seem to be going fairly smoothly for this one. Black can self-cover with their wall here. They can also throw this up this direction, this wall up that direction. That cap would be pinned from crushing. Just going to check some of my commands here while they're thinking about what move they want to make. Trying to add some things. See if these things work. Poll might not work. I might have to install a widget for that. I can't test these unless it's a public stream, so sorry for the spam there, guys. But that way I can check my links, make sure things are flowing as they should. All right, and we're back. Black deciding how they want to deal with this problem. And this is kind of tack riding on a knife's edge here. That's the move I was looking at there, because if black can just buy themselves a little breathing room, then they can attempt to make something happen. Got to ride that line between being on defense and on offense. Okay, white just putting a wall there. Ooh, and another wall. I don't think that was necessary. That might put them behind here. 2, 4, 6, 8. Well, not behind in an overall eval sense, but behind in not as good as they could have done, not as optimally as they could have done. And a third wall. Okay, they do not want that road threat to happen. Yeah, black just gave them that stack. Because now that stack can hop back over. White down to just a few flats here. We've got 3 remaining after that. They are ahead on flats. Black has 1 positive FCD move here, which would then give a road to white. So, but that road threat was missed earlier. Probably a little more obvious now. But yes, I'm not sure that there's a way that black can come back from this unless they just pull something really funky. Black giving themselves just a little bit of room to maybe make that threat, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to have to capture or place another wall, neither of which is going to help them out. And then we're down to 2 reserves left for white. So 2 placements, and that should be it. We do see a wall. I'm expecting to see E2. E2 Brute. And then now, regardless of what black does, we should have a white flat placement for a flat win. Let's double check our count. 3, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 2, 2, 4, 6, 8, 9. Yep. So we should see that yep. Now placement. I mean, white can really push for things and attempt to make a road, but okay, maybe they're just making doubly sure that they are in the flat lead. Okay, there we go. 14-7. Good game. That the finals go to Prof Tech. So I will get the standings updated, and we will let the players choose their prizes. But this has been the finals of the 2025 February Beginner Tech Tournament. Thank you to all the participants of the tournament and everybody who came out to watch the stream. I will try and clean this up and adjust the audio since it was a little low in the beginning. And then I'll get this out to YouTube so that people who aren't up at 12:30 in the morning on the East Coast can enjoy some commentary of some good games. All right, hey, I want to thank everybody for watching, and I'll clean this up, like I said, get it over to YouTube, and then I'll see you guys for the next one. Thank you.